Hey, I wanted to show the modifications I made to this small bandsaw. I bought this about a year and a half ago, and it was pretty much an impulse buy at the time. I didn't give it much thought. I was in, I don't know, I think Lowe's, and just saw it there. And at the time, I had a bunch of small parts to cut off. So I figured it was a good idea to have a small bandsaw. One of the first things I did after I got it out of the box was I set up a table and all that. And I noticed just how poorly made the table was. And the trunnion system to make it tip. None of it was cast properly, it didn't line up properly. And I did my best to get it to work. What I wound up doing was making a wooden table for it, not this one, but another one. And I actually had to do a lot of work to shim that up to get it squared to the blade. So that was one of the drawbacks with it. Another thing is, well, it had some gadgets on here. It had the upper blade guide had a rack and pinion type adjustment knob. You would loosen the knob and then you would turn the pinion gear that would, you know, lift and lower the upper blade guide. I mean, why do you need a complicated mechanism like that on such a small bandsaw? You know, so I changed that. Also, it was very flaky, so I came up with a different way. As you can see, this doesn't use a rack and pinion, you just lift and lower it. I mean, there's 4 inches here. You don't have to, you know, hook a winch to it or anything. It's pretty easy. And I'm using, like on my big one, it's basically the same design. I'm using the ultra-high molecular weight plastic as the guide blocks, and that's worked out well on my big bandsaw, so I thought I'd give it a try on this one, and so far it's working well. Another thing that I did is I changed the motor. Now this is the motor that was in here, and you know, it looks like a real motor, but it only draws 2 amps. One problem I have with it, it would stall when I was using it, and especially when it was cold. My shop is not heated, and if I wanted to use this in the winter, sometimes the saw would not even start. I'd have to reach inside and manually spin the wheels to get it to start up. So that's not enough power for me. I want something to run properly, and so I took one of my treadmill motors and I put it in here. Now it drives a V-belt, and I made a pulley. Made a wooden pulley that fits in here and fits on the bottom wheel. I had to turn it, especially to get it to fit inside this hub, inside this bottom wheel. So this is a 4-inch pulley, and I've got a 3-inch pulley on the motor. So this is actually spinning a little faster than the stock one did. Another modification that I made is I added dust collection built in. On the other end of the motor shaft, inside the chamber in there, there's an impeller. And it draws air from the bottom of the saw here down through and puts it in this box. The box has a filter on the front, which is just a t-shirt. And so the air blows through and the t-shirt material filters the air. And the sawdust will settle in the box. It works pretty good. I still have some tweaking to do with it, and that's half of the intention of this build, is to work out some of the details for my 12-inch wooden bandsaw build when I do it. I want to try to optimize the way that the air goes through here so that I get less dust settling inside here. You can't see the impeller. There's there's going to be a complete article covering this saw on my website. Lots of pictures showing all the steps and all the details that I went through to do all of the modifications here. So a lot of the modifications that I did with this saw are fairly straightforward. The one in particular that I want to focus on is the dust collection and see how effectively it clears the dust through the saw to keep it clean. I don't see the point in going to the trouble of putting dust collection in here if it doesn't do a good job. So that's one of the things that I'll be continuing to work on with this saw, to refine, to make it so that it's actually working to the point where I'm happy with it. As it is today, it's working well. I'm going to do a little demonstration of that right now. Okay, I've got a piece of pine here. I'm gonna make some cuts on. Hopefully my blade holds up. I actually kinked the blade a little bit, so it may break. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't have another one, so I'll adjust my blade guide down. Tighten it up. And I don't have any guard up here yet. I'm going to eventually. It'll work in the same way as the other one, just slide up and down with this. So I'll just make a bunch of wavy cuts, and we'll see how much dust gets collected. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. I think that's enough. I've got the entire piece cut up into strips like this. Let's leave that there. As you can see, not a lot went on the top itself. This is it right here. Majority of it got pulled down through the table inside. So I'm going to move the camera and we'll have a look. Okay, the first thing we'll look at is inside the upper cabinet. Let's see, I've got almost none. Like there's a very fine dusting over here in the corner. Nowhere else, none is collected. It looks great. I'm happy with that. Inside, there's some that collected inside the door here, a little bit piled up. Some over here, which was to be expected because this pine dust is really sticky. It's got resin in it, so that's not bad. That's acceptable. I can live with that. A little bit sticking to the surface inside here, but that'd be normal. Okay. All right, that's the cover off. I can see that there's a little bit down here. There doesn't seem to be much on the motor itself, which is really what I was concerned about. I didn't want too much dust piling up around the motor, and it seems to be fairly clean over here. I don't know if I can try a couple things to improve it, maybe drill a hole through the cover here in the corner, and that would create some airflow through. Like I say, this is pretty much a test bed for me to try out different things on, so I'm going to try that too. The baffle is working really well. You can see the dust is piling up on it, but it's getting down and it's being drawn into the hole in the corner here. and that puts it in the box. I'm pleased. That's a lot of cutting at one time, and the dust, the amount of dust in here is perfectly reasonable for me. I anticipate that something like this is going to have to be opened up and cleaned out every once in a while anyway, so I think that this is really good. Okay, well, have a look inside the box. You see the filter seems to be working okay. Got a lot of the dust. That's quite a bit of dust in there. That's actually more than I thought there would be. Well, that's it. You can read more about this at my website at ibuildit.ca. I got a lot of photos and details on what I did here, and it should inspire you to maybe do your own modifications to your own small bandsaw if you have one of these. I know that I'm going to use this a lot more now because of this. It's that much more useful. Anyway, thank you for watching.